Hi Austin, hope you're well, and I am looking forward to getting started with you. So here you will see your initial daily tab, and this is basically like your daily diary. If you've already watched over the videos in the members area, you'll kind of have a good understanding of what this kind of what this will look like, and what you can expect to get from it. Sorry, I'll just turn off that. As you can see, your update date will be Thursday. We're initially going for fat loss after our discussions. You feel like you're in a good place to go for that. We just need to get your activity levels up and get you in a deficit calorie-wise. So obviously here we've got your date, we've got what we're tracking your weight in, so you can just drop in your weight in pounds, what sort of time that was, and then we have your macros, which I'll go over in a minute, sleep, accuracy, hunger, energy, steps. So these are all drop downs, and they're explained up here. And then your steps is, at the moment, I just want you to track your steps. So for me, I have a Fitbit, whereas other people use like the health app on their iPhone, and that'll be absolutely fine as well. So I just want you to, for this week, just walk as normal and track your steps, and we'll see where that lands and whether we want to use that or manipulate that, make it higher, lower, whatever it might be. I think at the moment we want to probably make it higher, but I don't want to start off saying like you must hit 10,000 steps and that be like triple what you're doing now. So I want to see where we're at, so we have a baseline. Let me know if that's a problem. I kind of assume people have a way of tracking it because most phones now you can download free apps that can allow you to track it, or like your Fitbit can easily track it. And what I would say is when you're doing your cardio, do remember to remove your step tracker, because we don't want to be counting your cardio steps towards your overall step count. We want them as separate numbers. Obviously here, any comments you want to make in terms of how you're feeling, how digestion is, how foods are responding to you, how training was, drop them in here. You have plenty of space there, you can write things in. And then I just had a note from me here, in that I saw you were taking BCAAs. I wanted to ask why. I expect you don't need them. So I'd like to hear why you're taking them, and then you might give me a kind of complete like, oh, I'm just taking them for the sake of taking them, I like the taste, or you might say I'm taking them for this specific reason. I might be able to give you a solution where they're not required, because in general I don't think they're required, and generally there's better solutions to problems if you're taking them for a specific thing. So in terms of your calories, you're already tracking macros, you already know this stuff, you're very good at it, which is awesome. So have your protein at 220 to 230. I think this should be ample. We could go a bit higher. It is relatively on the more higher side anyway, but given kind of your body fat percentage and the fact we're going into calorie deficit, I think this is a good amount for you. We're then putting your fats basically as low as what I think is reasonable for you, where we hit all of the essentials that you need for bodily processes. Get your EFAs in there, but mostly we keep them low so we can really have as many carbs as possible, so we can fuel your weight training, because that's the most important thing for recovery and then for actually powering you through hypertrophy style training, which is what we'll be doing. So this is your calories at the moment, a bit lower than what you're taking in right now, but not greatly lower, because I think through your weight training, through tracking your steps and through your cardio, will get you in a place where we'll be in a decent enough deficit. And I just want to see where things are. So I want to see where your hunger and energy levels are. I don't want to start hitting you with a really big deficit. And for someone of your size, that should be a decent deficit. So here we have your planner, which is basically where are we going from here. So if you do have any notes of like, note down any birthdays or weddings or anything kind of special occasions, you can put them in here just so I know where they are and we can plan around them. At the moment, we just have you doing hypertrophy and hypercaloric. Probably we'll end up deloading here and doing another mesocycle of hypertrophy training and being in a calorie deficit. But yeah, it might change, and I'll drop in kind of, and we'll plan further and further ahead of time to make sure. So here is your body composition tracker. This will fill itself out, nothing you need to do here, apart from at the end of every mesocycle, so during your deload, drop in your new measurements. I have your current measurements there. The rest of it will auto fill itself out, so nothing you need to worry about there. And then your mesocycles. So this is kind of probably the most interesting thing to you right now after your daily tab. As you can see, we've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, potentially week 5. I think we can probably edge out a week 5 and then deload there. So you've got your sets, your rep range, what weight you use, reps in reserve, and then you can type in your reps achieved. So as you can see, the key is here. So have a look over the key. You only need to fill in these blue cells. So let me first of all start off with cardio. So week 1, we've got HIIT per week, nothing. We're not doing HIIT. I very rarely program HIIT. List per week, 800 calories. So you just say if you completed it or not, and then roughly how long, because I just want to know how long in case it takes excessive amounts of time, which normally it doesn't in most cases. And this will probably stay at 800 calories throughout the mesocycle, but it might change. It will probably stay at 800 calories. So we have you on a similar split to what you have been doing. So a pull, push, legs, and then upper lower split. So 5 days per week. And this is what we're rocking with. You requested 5 day per week program. And this gets hitting everything twice per week at minimum, which is great. So we've got your sets here, rep range, the actual weight you use, reps in reserve, and then how many reps you've got. So for example, if you know we're trying to land in 6 to 8 reps on a bent over row, you know your 10 rep max is say 100 kilos. So maybe you choose to do 100 because we're not aiming for a 10 rep max, which is like no reps in reserve or 1 rep in reserve. We're aiming for 6 to 8. So 100 kilos with 3 to 4 reps in reserve when it's your 10 rep max, you should comfortably be able to get between kind of 6 and 7 reps quite easily. So you might end up getting for 3 sets, 7, 7, 6. And then you would put in here, how fatigued were you? So probably because it's your first training session, you probably had no soreness. It probably felt very easy because it's 3 to 4 reps from failure. So you just put in a 1, which is brilliant. And there's nothing else you need to do. Everything else is left for me to do. And then what you might notice is from these fatigue ratings, from your video check-ins, from seeing how you're performing in the week, I might increase the number of sets you're doing. At the moment, it's set level each week, and we just end up going lower in reps in reserve, so getting harder and harder. So we go 2 reps in reserve, 2 reps in reserve, and then 1 rep in reserve. But I will probably manipulate your volume via sets, so I might increase your set numbers through the weeks as we're trying to maintain as much muscle as possible. In the first week, we're trying to do as little as we need to maintain muscle, and then as we're going through the weeks, we're moving towards an amount that you can adapt to and be productive with, and then by the final week before we deload, it's like the most you can do and recover from. If we tried to do any more than this, we'd end up seeing diminishing returns, we'd see poor performance, you'd feel really crap. So before we get to that point, we're going to deload. So as you can see, we want at least 1 rest day between these sessions, but the rest you can kind of do back to back, and that's a week of training, so 5 days for that week. Hopefully all these exercises make sense. Hopefully you're happy with them all enough. If you're not, if you don't know how to do any of them, anything like that, feel free to send me an email questioning that. But I'm very excited to get moving forward from here. Very excited to get you healthy, happy, and losing fat and back to your kind of healthy weight. We will probably, just so you know, plan to have a deload and diet break combined in that 6th week. So in that 6th week, when your training's low, when you're really trying to recover from your training, we're also going to get you to reduce diet fatigue. So we're dropping a break there. Refeeds and things like this, at the moment, I don't have planned. We might implement them, but at the moment, not. So if you have any questions, any concerns, let me know. Otherwise, I will talk to you on Thursday. Cheers, Austin. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.